Hello and welcome back to the port. I'm Gavin Major, and although the normal content of this channel is World of Warships Legends, some of you may know that I am also a plastic kit modeler, and I do quite look forward to, after lockdown, partaking in Victory at Seas, which is a tabletop game produced by Warlord. And here is a nice little selection of some of the models that I have built, and switching over to the close-in cam, I'll quickly just show you some of these. So first up we have a HMS Renowned, which is a R-class battle cruiser. Really quite happy with this model kit. She's a 3D printed kit which I've then mounted on a piece of foam board with then a textured C. As you may already notice, with all my kits, they are have got magnetic bases. The reason being is that just makes transporting them a lot easier. Next one, as an example, is a Dido class cruiser from the Victory at Sea Royal Navy starter kit. Quite happy with these models so far, the ones supplied. I don't actually have any issue with the big bases of them. The reason being, especially when you do some of your own 3D printed ships, especially for example HMS Kelly, for example, where you end up with these very fragile masts. Actually having something else to pick the ships up by and move them about by is actually quite nice. Also, it does allow me to magnetize the bottoms, which then allows me to simply store them on a sheet of metal in a box file or something like that. So transporting them even with these fragile masts is actually quite nice because they don't fall off. So that's just an example of some of the kits that I have made. Also, just a quick example of some ships which are on my modelling desk. I currently have some tribal class destroyers from the Victory at Sea starter box for the Royal Navy. I also have a HMAS Perth, which is a amphibian class light cruiser, and this is a 3D printed example by Magpie Designer. Very excellent 3D printing. Really impressed with it. You can see how fine those barrels are and how fine the aircraft detail is as well. Sorry, you have to bear with the close-in camera because everything's inverted when I look at it. So that's a good place. He also does quite a lot of other things. I'll have a link down in the description of to him, and if you want to use him then, or to check out his stuff, then it's down there if you want it. Today, obviously, main event is we are looking at HMS Hood, which is just released, and so obviously this is just the box. I've already tried to record this once, so you are missing out on me opening the cellophane and everything because I wasn't quite happy with the first take, but this is just generally the box. One thing to note is they refer to her as a battleship rather than a battle cruiser, which, well, personally I would prefer the battle cruiser, simply because that is a better definition of what she actually was, and that's what the Royal Navy called her. Anyway, so within the kit, obviously, first of all, you've got the usual Warlord Games resin kit, basically just saying thank you. Wash them in warm water to get rid of any of the releasing agent. Test fit before you glue. Probably doesn't say make sure, it just basically says clean out, but it's the usual stuff. This comes in everything. If you want to read them, then you can read them, you can pause it or something, and just the usual Warlord promotional stuff there. Also comes with a kind of like a painting sheet, I guess you could say. Nice bit of explanation, but this is repeated quite a few times. Also have a painting scheme. These are used in AP, Armour Painter, and also Vallejo paints. It's actually a mix, whether you're using Army Painter or Vallejo. And then there's also a random bit of Panzer Aces. I'm not sure if that's another company. I'm not a expert modeler, I'd say. I'm more of a casual modeler. So this is, if this video is not up to your usual scratch, then that's probably explain why, because it's the first time I've ever used this setup. On the other side we have the instructions, so basic A turret, B turret, rangefinder, fore mast and bridge, rear mast, X turret, Y turret. Note that X, Y and A turret are all the same. B turret's are slightly different as it has the UPS launcher, the unrotatable projector, I think is the name. Obviously it tells you wash it, carefully trim off excess, use super glue. Also in the kit it comes with the actual battle card, I guess you could say. This basically then covers off things like the class, speed, armour, hit points, critical hit points, traits of the ship, so torpedo about 2. Also covers off all the main armament, fire directions, all the different ranges for all the different cases, because obviously the closer you are, easier to hit, therefore it affects your rolling. You also have the number of attack dice you get per turret, the armor penetration, number of damage dice per hit, also weapon traits, and recently she comes with her port and starboard torpedoes, which is actually quite nice. One thing to note though is the range on these is very small, so you're not going to be using them until you're very close, and obviously slow loading. And I'm not really quite sure about the AA battery. I haven't been able to play many games. Reason being is obviously COVID has locked down my local gaming club. And also I don't know too many people using it. Obviously it comes with a good sheet full of these damage sliders, so obviously that is the same sliders that you get on Cruel Seas or Black Seas if you're familiar with them. They are simple laminated, well not partially laminated, like a couple of layers of cardboard I guess you say. Now the wear and tear on these I suspect is going to be significant over time. That's why I guess they give you a good number within each kit. If these wear out, then I'm sure it's quite sensible maybe to track the amount of damage per ship on a couple of D10s or something like that. As I did flip over to the other side of the card, I just pop those off actually, because they're quite useful. I always keep them in a separate box. We have the length, displacement, speed, cruise, so just some general information. We've got a repeat of the same blur. We also got refits. We've got some minor refits where you change the secondary armament in 1940, removing the 5.5 inch guns, adding some additional 4-inch guns, so you change the number of attack dice and change points. You also have adding a radar in 41. And then we have the 1942 projected refit. However, it should be noted that the ship would have gone into refit in 1942 and wouldn't have come out of refit until mid 1944, possibly late 44. So that's worth mentioning, but it is quite nice that they have included this. It does include addition of aircraft, armoured deck, replacing all weapons except A, B, X and Y turrets with the following. So that's just changing the secondary armament and the AA battery. AA battery definitely jumps up quite a bit from 5 to 10, so that's quite nice. Now, Draken Fidel has covered this potential refit, and that'll be carded top right now if I can remember it. Also probably on the end screen. Quite an interesting watch, I have to confess, and that has actually encouraged me to actually look for a refit model of HMS Hood. I have managed to find one in the 1 to 1800 scale on Shapeways, so that has been ordered, and I hope to have that modelled as well on its own separate base in case I want to do some maybe later war, mid 44 onwards combats against, say, the Imperial Japanese Navy or something like that. So that's the ship card. So that just takes us on to the resin model. So here's just a general quick overlook of the resin module. Pardon me. So obviously this is your bow, this is your stern. On this side, not sure if you quite see it, but Admiral class battleship. On the other side we have HMS Hood. Nice smooth bottom. Tiny bit of flash there. Might need a little bit of a scraper knife around the outside. Obviously I'm going to be adding magnetic sheeting to the bottom of this just to enable it to be easily transported. Now just having a look, I'm not seeing any other flash, not seeing any little bits sticking up where it's been released from the model, so all in all quite happy with that. Representation wise, looks like she's in her post 1940 set, because we've got pom-poms, 4-inch guns, UPS launcher, 4-inch guns, 4-inch guns, 4-inch guns, pom-pom there. So yeah, it looks like she's got her her early war, basically how she would have been when she went in against Bismarck. Going into the close-in cam, hopefully this will give you a nice idea of what she's like. So this is obviously the bow, and you can see that it's quite nicely detailed, quite a lot of boats on the boat deck, plenty of room at the back. If I can get the lighting just right, I need to probably do about this angle. You can get a good idea of the depth of the casting, which is quite nice. Maybe if I can rotate it up like that. Now, the rear deck is quite close to the water, not as close as I would like it, but I guess it makes it easier to paint. Then that takes us on to, I just put there, the die casting parts. Now these are just quite, so here we go. Now I'll just do a quick look at the overview. Obviously you can see that you got your 4 turrets, you got your rangefinder, your main bridge and your rearward mast, and it looks quite crisp. None of the barrels are bent. If they are bent, they're bent downwards. I might try and show you that on the close-in camera. So yeah, switching over to the close-in cam. There we go. So on the close-in cam, we got, well, let's just, it doesn't really matter too much. Let me just grab, I haven't got, where's my thing to point with? Oh, I think I put it down somewhere silly. Oh, here we go. So, so we have these 3 turrets, which are all the same. So that would be A, B, and no, A, X, and Y turret. Say. Then we have B turret, and the reason why that's B turret is, as you might be able to see, we have the UPS launcher on the top. Then we have the rangefinder, the main bridge and the rearward mast. Now, not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but yeah, you can kind of see this turret, the barrels have been bent down, so that's going to need to be corrected once it's all been removed from the sprue. But I'm not quite happy with that. In regards to the historical accuracy of the model, obviously up on the close-in cam, bringing in the picture that they've supplied with the kit. Now, issues I'd like to take is with the heights of the turrets and just how high they are, especially B turret and X turret. They seem exceptionally high. The reason being is if I bring up on the other desk camera, so using British and Commonwealth warship camouflages of World War II, of Volume 2, Malcolm Wright, Battleships and Aircraft Carriers. Very good book, a very good Christmas present from the wife. And I just pop in the battle cruisers. And let me just angle it for the light. So what I'd like to draw your attention to is just how high the actual, if you look at B turret, and you look at X turret, they're not that high off of the, in comparison to the decks adjacent to them. I might even actually just try and bring this up on the close-in cam. Obviously, these are the colour schemes, so we have 1931 to 32, 1937 and 1941. Going over to the close-in cam, there, that gives you an idea on just, so this is X turret. And you can see how low it should be, and then compare that to say model kit, and you can see that it is exceptionally high. And then if we move this along and show you B turret, you can see that the rear of the turret doesn't really block the conning tower, it's only with the UPS launcher. If I bring in this, you can see that the turret does appear to be quite high. So I do look to try and remedy that. How I'm going to do that, I suspect I'm going to be, going back to the other camera, I suspect I'm going to have to drill these down a bit more in order to add some more depth, then probably cut them down, And then going to the close-in cam, on the turrets, these rangefinders which are on the back of the turrets, I might have to just sand them down with a file just a little bit. The reason being is obviously they do stand quite proud. So if I can file those down and also just drill out these barbettes a little bit more and then trim the barbettes down, I might be able to actually get the turrets to sit a bit lower. But all in all, apart from that, at least the issues I have with the kit are rectifiable, unlike HMS Warspite. The whole form of HMS Warspite was a bit wrong, but in order to rectify that, that would take a lot of messing around, possibly with plastic art and filler and sanding and stuff, and that was a little bit beyond what I was willing to do, so I simply painted it as it was. But now she's painting stuff, I'm quite happy with her. Well, that's a review of, or review and unboxing of HMS Hood from Victory at Sea Warlord Games, and I look forward to doing the modelling video. Now, this is not a permanent feature of this channel. This is simply just me just letting you guys see what I do otherwise, and I might just do a little mini series in regards to the Hood. If people do like some of the Victory at Sea stuff, then I might do a little bit more here and there, but obviously the main content of this channel is going to be World of Warships Legends. However, the odd occasional alternative naval video will probably occur every now and then. Until next time, I'm the Gaff Major, and back to the port.
Hey, hey, clear the way, here comes the galloping Major. Get out of the way there, you fellows, unless you want me to run you down.